Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series America Edition. It's time for our second best of 3 of Group D for...
You said donuts yesterday, so that's my issue right now, because I was thinking dog. Dog is not a...
Dogs are great.
I know, I love dogs, but D for dog sound, dog.
D for doggos.
D for doggos, that's better.
More innocent way to say dog.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with just saying dog either.
I feel like there's a connotation when you attribute the word dog to something. I think it's an unfair connotation, because I love dogs personally.
Okay, that's
but you know, like it's like, oh, that was dog.
But you could be like, he's like the dog in the race or something, you know, as well. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or he's dogging, I guess. Yeah, no, you're right. People don't always use it as it's not as positive.
No, sadly.
Yeah. So D for doggos, because that's much more wholesome.
D for doggos, indeed.
Yeah. It's a Protoss versus Zerg, for anybody wondering. Coming up next, we got puCK going up against Silky. Silky, most known, and we pretty much just keep talking about this, for beating Neeb before in WCS Challenger. And after that, well, he was one of the few players that could kind of contest him. So his EVP is good.
Well, he's also the greatest star for a while as far as TESPA is concerned.
Yes.
The collegiate circuit, they've produced quite a few North American rising stars, many of which we've seen in Challenger. But the king of them all is Silky.
Yep.
Has been Silky for a while.
They won. We had the Collegiate Esports Championships a few months ago in Houston. Great little city. I think he did it at PvZ, and yeah, Silky's team won.
Of course.
Unsurprisingly, because he is.
He
is very good at the video game.
He is indeed, and not as well known as his skill would prove. I think that this is perhaps one of the most evenly matched matches that we have had in general in the in this round of the North American division. Maybe up there with TLO versus Epic.
Yeah, very close. Very good series, I'm expecting. As we are just setting up the lobby right now. Okay, puCK is in, so we should be starting this game very soon.
Yes, indeed.
They're talking about which game site we'll be playing on for this. And yeah, we're just getting ready to go. Hope you're all having a great day.
It's going to be a good one.
Yep.
A banger.
As they say, yeah. And if Red Eye were here, he'd say this match is going to be a cracker. I can't do. It's gotta. I gotta work on it. Yeah. That one needs to stay in the oven a little while before someone tries to bring it back out. I think.
Cause
I got a lot of work to do.
So puCK, of course, one of my favorite people really in StarCraft, and a player that has been in my team for perhaps now the longest, excluding myself. So I've lived with the guy. I've played against the guy.
We've both known puCK for a while.
Yeah, I guess you've also lived with puCK, yeah?
Yeah. He was at the house with me. You know, he was the first person that introduced me to other pros when I was new and trying to do stuff.
He's that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a good dude. He got me into watching actually Scarlet's practice games against like Illusion back in 2012. The old days. Ancient history, really.
Much aggression than you must have learned.
Yes. Well, he killed me with Colossus Drop for like a month straight, and I was very depressed, but we are loaded into game number 1 in the bottom right position as the red Zerg player. He is Silky.
And in the top left-hand side, playing for one of the most history teams in North America, and with much of a history himself, it is puCK. $71,000 to his name, not bad.
Yeah. Isn't Silky one of those guys that's from somewhere in central US as well? Am I crazy? No.
Semi-crazy.
No, he's
sure.
He's California. I confused him with someone else. There's another NA Zerg who had a video made about them that had a bunch of snow in it. And I just completely mixed it up.
Have you met Silky? Really nice guy as well.
Yeah. I got to meet him in the team when they went up and played. But based on the university he goes to, I assume he's Californian.
All right, so we are gonna see nothing out of the ordinary so far, aside from a Wolof that's not completely unordinary either. But I think it would be somewhat punishable should the Zerg do something like drone drill through the minerals and 12 pool, right?
You a drone driller?
No, unless every Protoss start doing this, then I'll be a drone driller, that's for sure. So if this becomes the standard,
You're
then I'll use
terrifying
it.
to play against.
Why, thank you. Yeah. I've been hearing that for a while, right? It's like, oh, cats. But the problem with my playstyle is that usually just wins one game out of a series against like the players.
And then it doesn't, you know, you can't.
Yeah, because I usually have like one really cool thing, you know?
It's hard to do that twice in a row.
Yeah.
Tell me about it, man. Huh. First time the BC shows up at 6 minutes, they're like, wow. Second time they're like, blink.
Yep. That is more or less the story of my life.
How about this Stargate positioning, though? Very interesting. So he's got it. It's like not in his base, but it's in a safe space behind the main wall. So I guess it's going to get there just maybe a second faster than normal, or 2 seconds faster than if it was from his main.
Yeah. Also, the information, I suppose, from not having it on the wall off. But I don't know if I would mind a Stargate on a wall off here, seeing as the wall off has much work to do before it gets fully completed.
Yeah. Speed is only halfway done, so he's not really at risk.
puCK, a very creative, very intuitive player. And what that often results in is, like, because you and I both follow a similar approach where we are often testing things to see how they work, right? And in that testing, you kind of have to believe in your approach, right?
Yeah.
So when you lose, you find out why you lost, and so long as there's anything that you could have improved and you see the potential for it, you continue to do that. However, sometimes if you catch puCK in a transition where he is learning a new style, because he is a creative, he basically isolates himself from the rest of the world and has to figure it out on his own, right?
Yep.
So if you catch him in a transition, he can be pretty weak and lose to just about anyone that's, you know, good enough to take him down. But if you catch him well rehearsed, he can beat just about anyone. So he's kind of a volatile player, and I'm curious to see where he's at right now. That Stargate speaks volumes, I think, to what we were just talking about, right? I'm not sure that that's a necessary Stargate there. I'm not sure it accomplishes enough to warrant it being there, outside of it not being scouted.
Yeah, what's interesting is he's not moving the oracles out. It's
Yes.
2 oracles, and I assume he'll start. Okay, it's a Phoenix behind it.
Yeah, I would have almost liked more oracles being produced and saved, because I think that would be more consistent with the Stargate being hidden as it is, right? But yeah, just 2 oracles, and Silky's gonna be well ready for it.
Yeah, he's got spores up already, so he's gonna come in here. There's 2 queens and the spore, which means he's gonna grab 3 drones and get out. But one of the oracles takes quite a beating, tragically.
He sure does. But gets his money's worth. puCK also a very micro-oriented player. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. What do you think he's gonna go for this time around? Are we gonna see disruptors? Are we gonna see blink stalkers?
It's likely that we see both, right? One of the approaches that he was trying recently, for example, that I don't think he should do that much, is chasing Mutalisks with Archon drops instead of like making Phoenixes, for example.
Oh yes, we talked about this.
Oh, you've seen it, huh?
Ear Dragon brought this up last season of Challenger, actually.
Yeah.
And he had like the 3 or 4 warp prisms with just a ton of Archons.
Yeah. I mean, it's got its pros and cons. We discussed it because, like, other players, like I was talking to a lot of the North American children, if you will, like the up-and-coming Protosses of North America, that were all in a Discord channel, and I joined, and we were discussing strategy, and then puCK was talking about this build, and they were all very dismissive because they're all copying stats, you know, and so they're like, that doesn't work, just make Phoenix. So, like, to advocate for the stance, there are certain things that go well with it. Like, for example, if you don't have Phoenix, you have a greater army, so if you actually push out the Muta with it, you get to have a much greater force than most players would have. Like, there's always pros and cons, but all in all, I think that Mutas can definitely just abuse that.
Every genius is called crazy until they're proven right, Cats.
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
So I don't mind experimental play. I only spent half my career people telling me that no one would ever use battle cruisers, even after they buffed them, and I was like, this is definitely going to be a thing.
Yeah.
It's good times.
Yeah, I mean, people are going to start proxy hatching in the Terran main, but it's going to take another 10 years. I've been playing the standard of the future. Mate, I've been playing the standard of the future since 2010, believe me.
To be fair, the way that you play is basically how everyone has played every gold-based map ever. So I don't even think you're wrong in that regard. I think when all those gold-based maps were out and everyone
Right.
was proxy hatching all those games, it's just watch Cats and Bly, and then you learn how to do it.
Yeah, might as well. So puCK playing relatively safe, relatively standard. There hasn't really been much going on outside of a little bit of Oracle harassment. That's kind of the theme of this map as well, right? It is a very difficult map to attack into from either race because there is a single choke leading into all 3 bases, and puCK secured his pretty early on with a wall off. There was no punish for that, so he's getting away with what he wants, but at the same time Silky has also been free to drone up and do his own thing.
Yes, yes. Storm on the way. Prism is out, waiting for presumably some variety of opportunity as puCK takes his fourth, moving down the ramp. Oracle's just patrolling around, cleaning up some lings. I like having the Oracles kept alive as long as possible.
Yes.
So never going to complain about that, but the Hive is going to be done soon. We got a lot of Banelings on the way. Look at this Overlord spread.
Yeah, I like Silky's approach here a lot. I mean, with the Baneling speed ready and with a large force incoming, he stands a good shot at shutting down puCK in this low ground. So what I would like to see from puCK is cannons, and I guess we're having it done. I assume those are at the front. Cannons and shield batteries is what he needs, because otherwise that base, that fourth, is terribly exposed. You might think, well, isn't Silky's base also exposed? No, because he's a Zerg, he can actually get the surrounds, whereas puCK would favor chokes. Very nice warp prism here.
Yep, gets a big weapon in the main. And he's also moving out towards that fourth base in the center, so he doesn't want the main army to be able to help get some solid storms.
Nice. Yeah.
No Baneling speed yet.
Yeah, right before Baneling speed. That's a great job identifying that. And Queens are not the way against charge slots, because charge slots thrive off of surface area. Queens are fat and slow. Charge slots also very, very fast at closing that gap. So
I think the Queens are just big-boned cats.
yeah, well,
They're
all
big.
gonna fall. Yeah.
They're still big. Doesn't help. Well, these Zealots, the Prism got a lot of work done here.
Yeah.
Didn't really get into the drone line, but I mean, you do need Queens to play StarCraft, and Silky only has one of them right now.
Yeah, very good trades for puCK if we look at the resources lost, just as a quick indicator of how the trades have been going so far. It is puCK well ahead, and much of that is from the Warp Prism and those storms onto the Banelings.
Yep. Fleet Bacon on the way.
Yeah, and very fast Greater Spire as well on the side of Silky.
How do you feel about that?
I feel like he's gonna die if he gets attacked, and he's gonna have a great window if he doesn't.
Yep, I agree.
Because, you know, he hasn't been trading that well. If he was in a very comfortable position to get attacked, then great. But right now it looks like puCK is looking to apply some pressure.
Thank God. I like puCK going for an attack here, because I really don't think with how things are...
So.
I really don't think with how things are, you want to get to that big Stargate late game versus Zerg right now.
Yep.
Just don't. Wait a week. It's a little bit more than a week away now.
Those Banelings, okay, now they should have all been spotted, so puCK well aware where he's facing. It is a lot though, and it is difficult to push onto creep with that many Banelings, especially out in the open, which this map has a lot of. So we'll see what puCK is able to do. In production, it's 2 starports, so I think he's aware of the potential for a transition and wants to look to transition himself. I love this stasis traps in the back. Oh, very nice storms, actually.
Yeah, well, his opportunity to try and end this before Broodlords is slowly running away. He has the transition set up, as you've pointed out.
Yeah, I think he can still kill this. I think if he had just pushed the gas pedal after those storms, he would be in a great position. The Banelings are sacrificed, and this might be a blessing in disguise for puCK, because I think this lets him push. Yes, those were good Baneling connections, but I think that puCK could always take those. Now let's see if he decides. Okay, Broodlords are out.
And Broodlords are out. Yeah, he has to fall back. Be very risky to try and do something here.
Yet he might.
The Broodlings will trigger the stasis swords, right? So.
Or not.
Or not. Well, he gets some lings there. Well, if he gets too close, I mean, he shouldn't be able to storm and hit Broodlords with Archons, but I guess there is a weird world where that happens.
There's the Warp Prism as well, so... Oh, and yeah, he's... I think he should consider it, right? Like,
He's
if
got
you get
Tempest
those...
on the way, so...
Yeah, he's just gonna chill. One thing that Silky needs to be very careful of, that we saw just happen just now, is not to get his Broodlords clumped up with his army on the bottom of it, or else puCK is just gonna storm both at the same time, right? You want to make him choose between one or the other. So a little bit of a solo run by here at the same time.
Yep. Does not see it, so these guys are going to be able to just sprint on through. Is there an opening? Yes, there is.
Oh, it's a big one, too.
A lot of lings are going to spill inside of puCK's bases. Storm actually does help get the cannon to one-shot the lings, but the natural expansion takes a little bit of pain.
There's some lings in the main as well.
Is he just going to lose 3 probes, though? Wow, that's fantastic. He just killed, like, I think 50 lings for 3 probes. That's actually really
I mean,
sick.
that's the preemptive cannons is what did that, right?
Yeah.
If there's no cannons there, he probably ends up losing something like 20-something probes.
Yep.
So
cannons and the batteries really coming in the clutch. And that window for just having the counter to the Broodlords is closing. As the Infestor count rises, it's going to get more and more awkward. He does still have a very beefy ground presence, but you do want to try and do something before the Zerg can lock the map down with that Broodlord Infestor Corruptor army, because it is incredibly hard to crack that one open. As evidenced by previous games we've seen today of mass air, you do not want to have to play air versus a Zerg that gets a lot of Infestors right now.
All right, let's see what he can do. The Infestors, many of them with near full energy, some Biles landing onto those Tempests, and Fungal as well, but not enough that the army can push forward.
I mean, if he doesn't get Banelings onto the Templar, they're going to be so useful for shutting down any infested Terran bombs. And
There's
there we
only
go.
3 Broodlords.
I think you can see that the storms are all gone, so he is going to engage with the infested Terrans, and you do have to respect those. You must fall back.
Yeah, but I like this for puCK. I mean, he's just going to fall back, wait it out, and I think he's going to push in again, right? Like, there's only 2 Broodlords left over, it seems. Another one in production, but the Infestors are nearly depleted of energy, and puCK still has a sizable army, so even without Storm, I would love to see him attempt something here.
Yeah, you're right. It's an amazing retreat as the puCK pulling back as soon as the infested Terrans get lobbed out. That is what you're supposed to do. Engaging infested Terrans with an army, especially at the moment.
Okay, that's where we're going, Nate. Yes.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Marine Lord should have won, right? Like, let's just be real.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't stop thinking about that.
Yeah,
game.
me neither. It was a sad game, it is. My ego took a hit there, you know?
Aw, cats.
Very nice storms onto the Infested Terrans, and puCK is securing this game, yeah.
Yeah, he played this really well. Just really good army movement. The Prism did a ton of damage for him, and none of the aggression from Silky accomplished anything. So, GG, puCK takes game number 1 in this best of 3 here.
Yeah.
It's just very good, clean gameplay from Brandon.
Yeah, I think one thing to highlight from Silky is that he went for the Broodlords very, very early, like before he was able to really develop a great economy. And that might have been fine if puCK didn't attack, because then you allocate so many resources to the Broodlords. But because puCK was threatening the attack, Silky's forced to use so many resources to make him Banelings, Roaches, Ravagers, that sure, he buys time for the Broodlords, but he buys time for 3 Broodlords. So.
And then puCK retained everything too, I think was the most important thing. Like, we talked about the blessing in disguise. He crashed something like 20 Banelings into 3 Archons. This Archon survived, by the way, that fight.
Yeah.
And then he pulls back, and he's like, oh, my Tempests are coming out now, so I'm going to have everything I need to do with the Broodlords. And then all he has to do is push before the economy catches up, and he gets a ton of Infestors and more Broodlords.
Yeah.
But
Full energy on those as well. Yeah,
yes. And the one fight that he got into, he threw the Infested Terrans out, and then he's like, right, just hang back,
chill,
wait for them to expire. The Infestors are all out of energy.
Yeah, pretty much. So very clean game from puCK. Fairly straightforward as well, for puCK especially, right? We didn't see any crazy shenanigans.
There
really
were no
for the most part,
shenanigans, yeah. Just really really good gameplay out of puCK.
Mm-hmm.
Acropolis for map 2. And we'll be getting into this shortly.
Yeah, just a minute here, as our players are requesting a very short break. So Acropolis, all right. Pretty standard map. I mean, a lot of the maps in the current map pool are just kind of nice. The largest map is the largest map, the smallest is the smallest, but for the most part, you know, the layouts are fairly...
Yeah, nothing super crazy. I think...
Slow zones are cool. Tom Cruise I really like. It's like a pretty different map.
Yeah. I can't beat cannon rushes on that map, but otherwise I love it. Tom Cruise 84 is a great map.
I actually have something to say about that.
What do you have to say?
Well... As you well know, Wisdom Sauce is always bathing me in knowledge, but he is, by excellence, a cannon rusher. He cannon rushes against Terran every single game. And when you
Hey,
said
he's our observer. Can we get him fired?
well, when you said that about Tom Cruise, 84, and the cannon rushes, he said, well, this map is actually not that great for cannon rushes. And you know why? I was like, why,
It's
right?
all in my head.
Yeah, it might be because he explained it pretty well. Where you would position the cannons on Tom Cruise, yes, it looks like it's great if you can get up and because the CC is in range and everything's in range at the top, right? But he said if you wall the probe off, then the game is over. Like if the probe can't get up, which is one of the responses of Terran, the game is over. Whereas on other maps, if you wall off the probe can still, like the cannons are still in range of your wall off. But on Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
the cannons are not in range of your wall off.
My problem ends up being that it's so hard to like squeeze anything out of there that the follow-up is always the contain and the Tempest. I'm just not good against it. I hate it.
Fair.
I hate it when it turns into that phase. When there's like 7 cannons and 7 shield batteries and the Tempest building in your natural, it's just...
Fair.
No. It's my trigger.
All right, so we are loaded into the next game between Silky and puCK. Leading the series is my boy, Brandon, and trailing is my other friend, Silky. So, should be a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, like Acropolis. It's a really good map. This one and Thunderbird are my favorites this season. Have you gotten to look much at the new maps? In case anybody didn't know, the new season, I think, starts the 20th? When the patch goes through, right? They said it's going with the new season, I think.
Yeah.
There's going to be new maps. I looked at a lot of them.
I've
A
seen
lot
a
of
few.
them have very big cliffs for Blink Stalkers, which breaks my heart. And very, very small openings for Reapers. They don't want us to be able to scout.
Well, it will boil your blood to know that many are very cannon friendly from the same source.
God! Damn it!
Yeah, he's very excited about it actually, so good luck.
It's cool, it's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to start Marauder rushing myself again.
Do it. Okay, Silky with a fast gas pool and a third hatch or a second hatch at the third location because puCK was or went with the early probe scout, so this gas is going to be necessary and the speed is going to be necessary in turn very fast so that you can chase the adepts around and whatnot, as you're not going to be able to rely on queens very easily because they do not like to walk free.
No, they don't. They're not big fans of that. So puCK getting the wall set up. Of course, we get to talk about how... And okay, so I'll say this. Talk about how a lot of the maps are standard. But one of the most interesting things about Thunderbird is that we do see players break out, especially greedy builds on that map.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are tailored for it because of the way the wall works. So puCK can't do what he did in the last game.
Good.
Like, for example, if he tried to build his Stargate at the third and Lings find it early, like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
it's
not gonna
just...
happen,
Yeah. So there are some considerations that have to be made for... I guess it's more so for that map specifically that you make the consideration rather than the others, but...
Yeah, but still...
You're still practicing different builds for different maps now. Which
No, but your point holds because Protoss and Terran both have an easier third axis than normal, whereas Zerg normally takes their third very early anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
So everyone can play a different game. It's not like Zerg is behind on that map because the map is larger, but Zerg gets to play also a greedier style if the Protoss and Terran want to play very greedy, right? So
Yeah.
so it is a different game. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. It puts more pressure on the Zerg, I'll say. Because, I mean, if you are Zerg and you don't play especially greedy and the other player plays greedy like that, then you usually, all your timings are messed up because, yes, a Terran or Protoss push might hit a little bit later, but it's probably going to hit a lot harder because of the greed.
Yes, indeed.
That Adept doesn't see a fast layer or anything, which is nice, so... Getting a normal game is what it's going to look like for puCK. There could be something like hidden behind the mineral line, but it's whatever. Oracle openings are going to give you more information anyway. That's one of the best things about the Stargate. You're in the opponent's face, and it gives you scouting information.
There
Which
is
is
this Oracle now,
Very
nearly
valuable.
finished.
Now, is he going to get 2 and hide them again, or? No. 1 Oracle. I think it's going to go straight out. Yep. And then a Phoenix.
Yeah, it'll get spotted right away, but there is 2 Overlords for this Phoenix to take advantage of, so that is a good thing. Many of the European Zergs often just are sending 1 Overlord out on the map because this is a common opener, so they just sacrifice the 1 Overlord. Instead, Silky is going to end up losing 2, provided that puCK can find them, which all Protoss players are very adept at.
Yep. fully expect it. Nice. Immediately find some use for those drones so that they do not die.
Yeah, for the Oracle as well, though, as it's gonna find. Ooh, should have found 3. Just finds the 2 drones.
2 drones for most of the health too.
Yeah, but more or less a third if you account for the triple, you know, the triple spore gas and mining handles.
That's
So not the worst.
He is also. You get scouting right through that, so. I think he saw when he first moved in that there wasn't a lair yet. It is now just starting, so we will have that.
Yeah, it could be a little deceitful.
Yeah. Did he see that the lair had started?
I don't
Just out of
so.
blind curiosity. No.
He did not.
And now he will. So he should have a really good idea then of the kind of pacing of the game. He'll get back there eventually, I'm sure. He did build another oracle, so
Yeah.
I expect to see that.
Decides for a forge upon scouting, by the way, so maybe feels a little bit safer knowing that there's tech being awaited before Silky probably does much of anything.
Yeah.
The Phoenix will continue to scout here as Immortals are now being produced and a third is coming online.
There's no way he doesn't think there's a lair by now, though.
Oh,
I want him to see it. I want it to update the old vision.
wait, now he's seen it, right?
No.
Oh.
Technically, no. He passed by it like a dozen times, but
Huh.
I don't think he ever got visual confirmation on it. Doesn't matter. The prism is going to reveal it now. Or will it?
Well, we
This is
shall
gonna
see.
be the
We
horse.
shall see.
This will be the...
Infestato pit, my friend.
How would you say that? Was it Pit de la Infestation?
Pit de la infestación.
Ooh,
I
I,
don't
want
know
the
what it
cat Spanish announcer pack. That's what I just realized that's what I need.
Wait.
Whoo, baby. Tell me I'm low on minerals.
No tienes muchos minerales.
Whoo!
I'm making a little bit of a voice.
Blizzard,
there,
take my 749. Let's go.
Oof.
Better than Duolingo, man.
Thank you, thank you. I'll start my own MSS YouTube, but for Spanish.
I'm ready.
Ooh, a little bit overkill on the force fields by 1, but obviously very much worth it still. So 5 force, make it 6.
That's a lot of force fields for
Yeah.
3 queens, but
It is 3 queens for free.
yeah, that's true. It only costs energy. Those force fields are free units, cats.
Yeah.
Going by Reddit standards.
By Reddit standards, I mean the conversion should be clear. 6 force fields are worth 3 queens worth of units.
There you go. The Nidus network and Swarm Host, by the way, this style has become quite popular in the
Yeah.
Zerg versus Protoss.
I love what Silky is doing here, right? He is threatening an attack even though it's not going to happen, and puCK is going to completely shut down the Ravagers. Great focus fire as well. Those units are twice as valuable as the Roaches.
Yeah,
and,
that's a huge pickoff. Keeping the Oracles alive, I mean, is like going to be the #1 takeaway from all the stats memes. Because everyone's building 3 Oracles now,
Yeah.
or like multiple Oracles, but it really is the retention that is what makes them so freaking good.
I completely agree. And there is this Nidus Worm, and this is why I was liking the move out by Silky, is because he was trying to buy himself space for the Nidus,
Yep.
right? So that puCK thought, I'm getting attacked, and then Silky gains the space to do exactly this with impunity. But that is not the case, because the Oracle retention was there, as you mentioned, and the army of Silky gets pushed back. So these Locusts stand to do much less. puCK being puCK right now.
Yep. Prism Micro to save the sentries. These Adepts are going to trade out against some Lings in the bottom of the map, and the Roaches are going to show up to make it not so bad of a trade.
6 workers do end up falling. A little bit of nice target firing onto the one salad there. We'll clear it with minimal investment of Locusts. But the Nidus Worms do cost money and gas, so there is the return for them.
We did get to see a game where like 20 Nidus Worms got blown up earlier today, so
That was obscene.
that was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life, because most of them didn't even do anything.
We've had a great day of StarCraft, as far as I'm concerned. Like, very many crazy strategies. Wow, very important surround there, as forces 2 of the Templars into an Archon and 1 dead to rights.
Keeping the Swarm Hosts off the back of that base is pretty nice, but they do come out of the South Nidus again.
This
And
is
that
a big
Robo
one.
is a big target too.
Yeah, it's gonna fall
think
too.
he's-
If not the Nexus, he could go for the Nexus very easily. He could probably get both also, so I like this. He's gonna get both,
He's
I
gonna
think.
get both,
Yeah.
for sure. Locust.
Locusts.
When they get on top of stuff, they kill stuff real quick and depowers.
Wow. So now Silky in a phenomenal position. And puCK isn't really equipped to deal with locusts if we look at his army, right? Like there's one Archon for AoE and kind of a Storm or two.
Yep. So counterattack goes to puCK's third base as he wants to make a push here, but that one photon cannon is going to have a hard time keeping his little pro beast safe, and he makes a big warp in at home, which of course is not going to help him with the aggressive push that he wants to make.
Not one bit. And the locusts and the swarmhosts have reloaded, and the locusts are ready to fire again. So Silky very smartly as well, only firing a few swarm hosts as a means to say get out or lose a unit or attack me if you want, but I still have plenty to go.
Yep, and he did send another unit for vision on the south side, but puCK just killed it. Very important, because I fully expect Silky to try and get up another Nidus Swarm soon, and there we have one. And the Zealots are immediately on top of it, so I do think the two Zealots look like they're going to be able to deny it.
Yeah, this is extremely important for puCK right now. His win condition is denying every Nidus, because if more Nidus continue to do free damage for the moment, then he's gonna really struggle. The Swarmos are gonna struggle themselves to cross the map without these Niduses, and that's why we see puCK being as proactive as he is, looking for such tunnels, creatures, semi-building creatures.
I mean, puCK is now the protagonist of a 2019 Tremors movie, you know?
Yes, indeed. And he's gonna need a lot of army and a lot of AoE. Probably, oh, that's a misclick if I've ever seen one. Those guys are not gonna kill anything ever. So
no.
puCK might have spotted it too. This is a great opening. puCK can capitalize on it. There is no locusts for a
few Ravagers with them oracles, man.
Monka. Monka!
Oh! Yeah, he definitely thought he was out of the danger zone, but he was not.
And puCK is not gonna capitalize on the lack of locusts for the time being. I mean, it's not like he had a lot of time as they come back online now. But yeah, I think his game plan has to be something like get maxed soon. Unfortunately for him, Silky is already maxed and transitioning into Broodlords.
Yep, needs to get like a good push going and get the Prism in play. He does go for a huge warp in the main base of Zealots, so this is what you try to do to create space so that your army can try to knock down that fourth.
Yes, indeed. Space created for that and to keep the army of Silky back as well, since Silky probably wants to be on the offense here and get some use of those locusts.
Yep, he did get another Nidus spotter in the northeast. That's something that we'll need to be careful of as the Overseer goes that way.
Well aware
following it.
Yeah. Mr. Zealot is relying on the information. That's not very many locust waves. puCK does not respect it. He shouldn't.
No, there's not a whole lot really here.
That's not very many swarm hosts, but the Broodlords are here.
Yeah.
That is the Monka moment.
He doesn't have Blink yet, so even the few Stalkers that he does have cannot get close enough to fire. So he's got to fall back. Prism is still going to town though in the main. And Ravagers, like, not exactly the unit that you want to be fighting Zealots up close in person.
Extremely inefficient trades, but it's not gonna matter because he's so far ahead right now, Silky. There is
we go.
Another
finally
Nidus.
happened.
Oh, if he can kill the Nidus, okay, Silky realizing it, puCK also realizing his opportunity, right? Like those Zealots were gonna go after the Nidus. If you don't start loading early, then you're gonna lose whatever swarm hosts don't load, and the Nidus does not load instantly. It's one by one type thing.
So good save there, but he is not going to give up. Silky is no quitter. I mean, honestly though, like, given a long enough period of time, if puCK controls well, like he's going to be doing well money-wise, because he's got the 4th, he's got the 5th now, he retook the natural. Silky is quite slow to get his 5th base.
Yeah, and I love the approach of Silky in switching over to the Broodlords, because once puCK is maxed, the swarm hosts are just not gonna cut it, right? Like the locust wave will get dealt with, will get stormed, and then you have no units. So Silky is saying, well,
207 supply. Cats, is he cheating?
He is not cheating, my friend, but that was not bueno in my opinion. Like, not only does it take a lot of actions and a little bit of money, but it's just 7 supply, right? If you were doing 20 extra supply and you were planning for an attack, great. But for 7 supply, when you're not planning for an attack, then chances are you're never gonna get to use it. Like, use the advantage that you've created for yourself.
Shame. Looks like 3 Swarm hosts gonna get left for dead here.
And he's yeah. And if they do, look at the supply, as the Todd would say. And there's your spores gone. Nothing accomplished.
Wow, I've never heard someone smack down the 6 supply meme before.
Well, it has to make sense. It's not like it's always wrong to do it.
Right, right.
It has to make sense.
At what point does puCK do the Fist of Neeb, you know?
What's the Fist of Neeb again? I
one
know this
probe.
One. Right. When was this?
That was
it was a while
It's
ago.
like Rogue, yeah. It was back
Yeah.
when carriers were good.
The Fist of Neeb.
He had 199 army supply.
Yeah. Something else.
People play video games for money in the future, man. It's pretty crazy what happens when it's pretty crazy what happens when you put it all on the line for video games.
Yeah. Nice.
That Nexus
Up
should
on
be a
this
dead
It
Nexus.
is very dead. Unless. Yeah. Nice counterattacks by puCK here.
Kills the
all over place.
Nidus.
Wow.
That's really, I think that's huge.
It's important. I think it's definitely replaceable.
This
but
Zealot
it's gonna
kills
cost
an
him a little
advantage.
bit.
Oh!
Very nice.
Another one.
Good focus firing. I mean, puCK is a very strong micro player. He will pay attention to the little things very, very often. Silky with a gigantic bank, but puCK also maxed now. And he is considering...
Restarts the Nidus.
There's going to be Tempests, and there's a robotic space. So do you think we're going to see the Disruptors here? Or?
You know what? Disruptors have done pretty good against Infestors in this the last like week or two. It seems to be one of people's ways of dealing with.
Yeah, thinking about it, they should be pretty decent against Locusts too, right? Because those things clump.
Maybe. That sounds a little scary because Locusts try to
sketch.
land on your units, but no.
Very nice job identifying that he could do that by Silky.
But here we go. It's happening, cats. We got 9 Infestors coming out. More Broodlords. This army is going to become progressively more difficult to deal with. No way to punch this in the ground either. 7 Swarm Hosts. Just enough Locusts to back this up that if you try to blink underneath it or something, you'll probably die. But there you go. 2 Disruptors. And more Oracles.
So we'll see what UC has for these outside of potential Neuroparasites. I mean, Neuroparasite is a bigger threat when you're going Carrier than Tempest because the Carriers have to get a little bit more in your face. They're a little bit more exposed. So we'll see. I mean, I don't dislike the Disruptor choice. Quite honestly, it is a very difficult task for Protoss to approach the late game against this Zerg unit composition this time around. Yep. Air units are just, yeah, it's the Infested Terrans are very, very powerful.
The Swarm Host count is low enough now that like these numbers of cannons and that Zealot just tanked everything, but shouldn't be as much of a threat for sniping bases. Of course, it can still do damage. There's an Oracle Revelation. But yeah, you need to be super cautious about engaging these armies. The Disruptor is like the big one. That's all I've noticed, because I'm not crazy about Disruptors personally, but that's what I see when I see people beat this. And I think Showtime tweeted as well about the massive Disruptor hits that he was getting that we didn't even catch because they're just kind of like YOLO yeet bombs.
Well, it's obviously we didn't catch it, but neither did who was it against? Zerg player, right?
Yeah.
Who was it?
A Zerg.
Very good Zerg.
We've casted like 1,000 games of StarCraft this weekend, so I've already forgotten everything.
Yeah, I'm also brain farting there. But the point that I was gonna make is it's very difficult to see those because it's one warp prism versus looking at anything else on a saturated map, right? So that one warp prism drops 2 Disruptors, and the Disruptors have the potential to kill an entire army. So that happened to me actually against puCK just recently in a game where I was like super far ahead, and then I had a clump of Disruptors or a clump of Infestors like this. You are looking at the minimap, and one dot on the minimap doesn't register as a huge threat, like this one. And this is exactly what happened. Thank you, God! Thank you, God! Ah, do you believe now, Nate? Wow. Are we
What's it like
some
to
sort
be...
of clairvoyant prophets?
I'm just so glad. Oh my God, I'm so glad I was here for that.
Yeah.
You literally just teed it up and then puCK was just like, there you go, Cat. I'll prove you right immediately.
Thank you so much, Paquerito.
Well, now there's definitely an opportunity to do something, because that's not a tremendous amount of infestors anymore, and he still has the disruptors, which now, if there's a big infested Terran bomb, I think there won't be that many. So it really just comes down to making sure you can get on top of the oracles, or excuse me, the brood lords. I mean, because corruptors, there's not a lot of archons, so corruptors are still pretty terrifying.
Yeah, but that was a huge hit.
No, if he was barely behind, he's in a pretty good spot now after that. Silky's broke. He can't even max.
He can't even.
He literally can't even.
puCK has a gigantic bank, so let's see what goes. I mean, army size-wise, it is Silky in the lead still. So
oh, this is my favorite
very
3000 IQ play.
Yeah.
The reverse revelation.
Yeah. John Cena. The counter to John Cena.
I thought he was the only unit it didn't work on.
Oh, perhaps.
Yeah, we'll have to do some research on that.
Good counterattacks all throughout. Silky doing a good job as well to have some static defense here and there, because puCK has been relentless with
those broodlords are sticking out just a little. I love the neural parasite like that. And even just these preemptive right here, like if you step into that, those guys will hurt. puCK has level 2 shields, but that's only going to be useful against the corruptors and the spores. I like using the disruptor shots to help break down the spores, though. Use as much as you can. Just careful about baiting. He did lose an Archon right there. The Archons, I think, are extremely important for keeping the corruptors away from you. And at that point, you're hoping the High Templar protect everything else from getting knurled.
Yes, indeed. So creep spread has been dealt with pretty nicely, and this is kind of a strange situation that we find ourselves in as far as map layout is concerned, right? Both players expanding completely away from each other as much as possible, but eventually they will meet because there's just so many bases. So Silky expanding to the south of his own base, whilst puCK taking the northbound bases. A very nice revelation onto those infestors. And the fight will continue, the trades will continue. Units lost, dead even most.
Yeah, my God, is he gonna get that? Oh, almost got a Viper there that he totally should not have been able to get.
Very weak Viper left alive as well.
Look at that Queen. Just dropped like 10 tumors down. Disgusting.
Yeah. And there is that shield upgrade that puCK has been favoring as of late. So we'll see what goes here. Of course, it's
scared of him. Ooh, nice. Good zoning.
The revelation is just so very important. I feel like we saw even Showtime lacking on this front. Even obviously he knows what revelation does, right? But he wasn't landing those same revelations that allow the Tempests to really get value out of the range.
No, I did not. When I talked about the focus on getting back to spreading creep, puCK immediately clears that up with his zealots. So he's been very active on the map. He's really using that bank as much as he can. Whereas Silky's putting some money in, but like he's still got a lot of cheap units in his army that are inflating the supply. So maybe he wants to try and bleed some of it out, but it's kind of hard to do that because if his army gets too slow, then do it now before the spores pod. He has gravitic.
Or was this the ultimate?
Oh, the great debate. Ooh,
the great debate.
And then move it.
He can't move the prism in time, but that doesn't matter to me. Oh, but he's stuck in a choke. Good fungos here by Silky, if he can capitalize with the brood lords. Not going to be able to this time around. Would love to see a neural parasite onto one of those disruptors.
Zealots are still going ham.
Yeah, how? Now what happened? He must have pulled back his army.
Maybe fat fingered that F2.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Alright.
I like this though.
Clear this again.
That army is so slow of Silky's. Like just trying to push in other spots, I think is really, really important here. But Silky may try to use this as an opportunity to move out and wedge himself somewhere dangerous, so we'll see. Cleaning up the corruptors there, though, is really nice, because he's like, all right, now the prism can still just chill. He's building a muta. as he rebuilds the Corruptors. I want to get rid of that damn Prism!
Yeah. I mean, the Mutas, I guess, gonna help a little bit. Put the Prism on a timer as it enters, so he might just have it patrol somewhere. Or it might be a
Can hit him in the corner. Yeah, he's got to keep moving.
yeah. It might be a mistake Muta.
Oh my god, the Roddy Prism.
The Roddy Prism.
You were distracted with my Warp Prism. That's when my Warp Prism came.
I mean, War Prisms are terribly underrated as far as their volume is concerned, right? Like with the, because Zerg players' goal and dream is let me get rid of that War Prism. If you have another one ready, then you still can't move out as the Zerg player, and they are a pretty cheap unit. Of
oh no, that one Muta. Ripperino.
Indeed. Good stasis there, a little bit ninja.
A lot of Archons. And the Archons can be a little deceptive, though, because a lot of Zergs will try to neural those, and they will do splash back to Protoss if your air units are stacked.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That one drone locked in eternity. Oh, 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 he's going to neural the... Oh, okay.
Ooh.
That was big. That was a huge disruptor shot, especially since he also saved his army from getting Revelation tagged.
Well, puCK does have 10k in the bank.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady wins the race, but production also wins the race. I feel like at this point you really want to be adding a lot of production so that if your army gets depleted, you can just reinforce. I wouldn't mind seeing, you know, a gateway explosion, as they call it.
I'm still terrified as the number of Tempests increases, and I hate to say this again, but after that BC game, I'm like, if he can get a bunch of infested Terrans and force the fight with infesteds underneath the Tempest, he is going to kill them all very, very, very fast with the Corruptor support too.
Oh, whiffs there. Whiffs twice on the easiest shot ever. puCK is the kind of player that will land the coolest and best disruptor shots, or just won't land
The worst, most lamest, squarest.
Yeah.
You know what you do though?
What?
You get Shadow Stride, and you get like 11 DTs coming from the flank, and just blink onto the infestors.
All right, Silky looking for a siege here with Broodlords and preemptively dropping some infested Terrans. However, infested Terrans are not really all that great against this army. I mean, they're gonna serve to section off the Tempests for a second here, but realistically what he wants is some neurals onto the army. A nice parasitic bomb. That's actually gonna whittle away at the shields a little bit.
Yeah, very well done.
Again, my fear for puCK here is that he is gonna die with a gigantic bank. I would hate to see that. And the reason for that is he doesn't have enough gateways to replenish his army. So if his army dies,
there's the fungal infested Terrans.
Oh! 3. Not bad. I love that the disruptors are back to what they were, by the way.
Yeah, oh, dude, when we had the old that like it was the same for when we had the awful Cyclone.
I was pissed.
That period of time when they changed the disruptor and the Cyclone, both of those units were so dumb. So he's just gonna YOLO yeet Blink Stalkers because he's like, you know what? Forget this air unit garbage. It is not working. But there's a lot of Broodlords still. So the Stalkers are not able to punch it in. I mean, that's one way to spend your banks. Not like Stalkers are cheap. 17 Zealot Warpin.
Yeah, but he's not maxed. This is my problem, right? Like he has 7k. He loses a chunk of army and he's not maxed. He should be ready to get remaxed instantly because he has such a bank. Right? It's so important that so momentum shifting. Oh, very nice, very clear on what he wants his targets to be, but
these chokes.
Shave some Zealots off and kill those Pyres, no? Go for the Hive again. Not sure that he'll be able to get it. Kind of just throwing away money.
Yeah.
Nope.
Tempest get a couple of shots in.
Yeah, this is becoming increasingly difficult, I think, for puCK now.
Yeah, Silky is he's kind of really low in terms of gas income, but...
Of this, though. A huge warping, including some Archons, right? Like, we've seen the Zealots dealt with, and most of that is because there's no backup, no splash. So the Roaches and Ravagers are doing great. But with this immobile of an army, he's going to need a little bit more than what he has, Silky that is, to deal with this. So we'll see what he decides to pull back. It's the Broodlords that he chooses to pull back, and that's why I love this. So puCK is going to get a lot of space out on the map. Gotta be careful with those infestors if they get found again by a War Prism with disruptors.
Yeah, this is sick. I mean, there's access to the tech as well, right, to try and go after. He can kill the Nidus network again. Broodlords are almost there, but this also gives puCK time to go down and kill that base on the south side, which is a huge pick-off, because that's There's very little money available outside of those bases for Silky because puCK has completely wiped the north half of the map clean of creep.
Yes, indeed. So that base will get dealt with. puCK still with an economic lead. Beautiful.
Ooh, the Dank Templar. Does he? Okay, he has a lair because he built that.
Yeah. Well, no, it's dead the lair, right?
Yeah, I mean, he already rebuilt a lair on one of his other bases. He's getting a hive again.
Oh, okay. Well, that was fast. Well, did
He
build it
started
as
the lair
zealots
as
were
soon as he right-clicked those zealots onto that hive
Wow.
that we talked about. He started another lair.
Impressive. Very
Splits up the
foresight.
DTs.
I'm gonna work on those. Those aren't doing much though. But yeah, good minute there for puCK. So let's see if he can keep that up, because Silky was otherwise getting the best out of most of his engagements.
Ooh. Those disruptors, man, they're the real heroes here.
Gotta try to pick up those Vipers. The Revelation, again, is so easy to forget, I feel like, for Protoss players. But it offers all the utility you need. If you're gonna be going for the Tempests, you just need to see the army so that you can take advantage of your range.
Yeah, I feel like I don't see players expand in these directions usually in this situation. So it's kind of, this has been kind of an interesting game to watch.
I mean, there's a Zerg base being built next to a Protoss base.
Yeah.
So that is pretty cool, yeah.
That's not normal, right? I'm not crazy in thinking that's a little different.
No, not at all. This is a 30-minute game as well, so we're getting to the point where, you know, like any base you take is gonna be highly contested. Good Revelation. The Oracles are back. Love it.
Yeah. Getting another one, too. Finish with +2 armor and +2 ship armor. Or air armor is the literal description for it for Protoss. Because they technically have some ships on the ground, as weird as that sounds.
Oh, that's fair. Okay, so puCK gonna push on forward. Blinks forward as well. The fungal is gonna deter. Oh, you gotta be careful with your fungal units there. The disruptor shot. That would have been funny.
Getting rid of the Brood Lords has been huge. He hasn't replaced them because it took so long.
And the Zealots are gonna zone off beautifully for the Infestors. Nice job by Silky. Loading the Infestors for safety, but...
What's attacking in the top? Swarm Rolls. Oh yeah, he's going to recall. He wants to save that. Love defensive DTs. There was an Overseer, but there's few things that feel more satisfying when there isn't to warp in a few Dark Templar at home.
Yeah, I mean, the Overseer usually lags behind the army, so makes the decision before he sees it, and yeah, it's a pretty great decision to make.
Ooh, that Disruptors, of course. They're good against ground units too. How could we forget? They're good against things that aren't Infestors. I feel like puCK's almost just about done it. There's a 4,000 mineral bank for Silky, but for Zerg, that doesn't really do anything.
Yeah, and larva.
He's not going to Ling
sure
Flood.
that he's even equipped. He has 8 larvas, so
yeah, he's not going to Ling Flood to come back and win this game.
He is not.
That's the reality. So
yeah, no chance of saying.
Zerg needs gas, and he is out of it.
Yeah, and they need. He's making 20 links, but yeah, he needs gas and he needs larva. He can't even come close to mining. This is as many links as he can make. So
the infested Terrans do end up getting underneath the Tempest,
yeah.
But the rest of the army has already done the job.
Yeah, and Storm is here. I think puCK has, like you said, just about done it at this point. I don't see Silky coming back, and larva continues to be a big issue for him.
Yep, shuts down the space. puCK had a lot of warp gates this game, and I love that. You talked about him being able to remax. Well, he got up to 17 gateways, so yeah, that's a hell of a way to spend a couple thousand resources in 7 seconds. GG, puCK wins the second best of 3 here for Group D for Disruptors. As yeah, just really well done game there. Feel like I usually see Brandon do stuff more weird, but he kind of brought the creativity in this game in a more interesting way that actually helped him win.
Yeah.
The second warp prism when he was chasing the one on the top left, like just really nice because
that was good.
That prism literally just bought time for him to get the other prism in, and just on top of everything. Really well played game, and the disruptor shots on the Infestors are what allowed him to erode the gas bank of Silky, so well done there. We're going to take a look at the schedule as this sets us up for the rest of the group. Coming up next, we've got the lower bracket match. That's a TvZ. Then we'll have our winners in puCK versus Scarlet, and of course, it's a GSL style group, so there will be a decider match. That leaves us to a quick break, ladies and gentlemen, as we prepare for our loser match. It's going to be Jason versus Silky. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back.